My name is Kendra, and you are listening to the Besties Podcast on Besties Radio every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Whenever I need motivation or encouragement, I listen to the Besties Podcast on Besties Radio every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Besties Podcast. We have
Hey.
We have C Murder, that's her new name, Crystal from Go Beautiful Skincare. And then we have Miss Jarde Allen. She is the CEO of InTheMomentTaxServices. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about the importance of having multiple streams of income. Is it necessary? Is it not necessary? But we're going to start with just getting to know our entrepreneur for this week. So Jarde, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and how you got started.
Sure. So thank you for having me on, first of all. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys tonight. So a little bit about me is I actually worked in corporate America for about 10 years before I started my own business. The last company that I was working with was Enterprise Rental Car. So I had kind of climbed the ranks in corporate America, Enterprise Rental Car. And I was actually at a point where I had a pretty good job. I was making a 6-figure income. I had a company car, profit sharing, 401k, you name it. But there was obviously a lot of things missing inside of me. I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And more importantly, I was at a point where I was still trading my time for money. So my aha moment that I had was when I realized that I was making a percentage. I think my commission percentage that I was making was like, I don't know, 3%, something really low. Wow. And yes, I had an amazing income, but the reality was all I kept thinking about is if I'm making 3%, what are y'all making?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that was my aha moment of, hey, if I'm making 3% and I'm making this amazing income, what if I actually gave 100% to myself? So that was my aha moment. I started my own tax business last year. I went right into financial services and kind of hit the ground running from there.
Okay, so you said you've been doing it for a year. How's it been going? They say the first couple of years, is a little rough. You don't really make any profits. Is it going well, or are you having some struggles?
Well, so I think I would agree that the first couple of years is a little rough, but obviously the more that you plan, the better you're able to execute. So I didn't just walk away from my job, right? So I planned to leave my job financially. Mm-hmm. So I made sure that I had money saved up, and I made sure I had a business plan in place. And I also made sure that I acquired a skill that was a need-based skill. So doing taxes is something that people need. So those three things, I think, are what helped my ride to be a little bit less bumpy than most people have when they start their own business. My business was profitable the first year. Our profit, we did about $54,000. And again, that was just me. There was no marketing budget. That was me sitting in my house on a laptop, just kind of figuring it out. So once I saw that, I was thinking, hey, let me see if I can scale this to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. Did you how did you get the courage to actually take that leap of faith? So we know that, okay, they're making the bulk of the money. I'm getting 3%. I know there's more out there for me, but that's still kind of scary going from guaranteed income to let me make this money. If I don't work, I don't get paid. Like, how did you find the courage to do that?
Yeah, so for me, there was a couple, I think, different things that align with each other. So one is I was already kind of struggling intrinsically at my job from a diversity standpoint. So there was that big black cloud there every day. And then I also knew what was inside of me. I knew that I had a ton of things that I wanted to give the world, and working in this position that I'm in is not allowing me to be able to give the world what I wanted to give the world. So I think those two things kind of colliding helped. And again, I think I draw back to gaining a skill of something I knew people needed before I left. I think that kind of, for me, was that confidence that I needed to know that I was going to be good. There wasn't really if I was going to be good, I knew I would be good because I knew that people will always need their taxes done. So that's kind of what helped me. So I would recommend to anyone that is thinking about possibly leaving their job, or anyone that's trying to think about going into full-time entrepreneurship, to try to also gain a skill that is a need-based skill, something that people will always need, whether it's insurance or, I hate to say it, but funeral homes, right? There's two things guaranteed in life. There's death and taxes. But there's a couple different things that that you guys could think about that will be something that people need, that you would just keep in your back pocket while you're also executing what you're passionate about.
Okay. And so during this year, do you think you learned any lessons that you could share with entrepreneurs who are still working a full-time job? They had one foot in, one foot out, and they're thinking about, taking the leap of faith. Like outside of planning, any classes do you recommend they take, or I don't know, any type of motivational books or anything like that they should look into?
Yes, I would first think about. The first thing that I would think about is, I'm sorry.
Oh, we have a comment. Love to hear this. Quit my job 6 years ago to be my own boss. Never look back. When you know your worth and wealth knows you. This is inspirational to those of us that may feel nervous about leaving corporate America. So that was the first comment from Ms. V. I don't know who the last comment was for. But yeah, like a lot of people I know in our group specifically are still working their 9 to 5, and they want to take their leap of faith and leave their job and do it full time, but just the fear of, not being good enough, not getting that guaranteed money. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know that you said planning, that's a good thing. A lot of people don't take the time to plan and business plan. Did you do the business plan yourself?
So I did, and that's what kind of my answer to your question that you just asked was going to be. I would say hook up with a mentor, but not just a motivational mentor, because there's different categories of mentors, and I learned that it's not all about just having one mentor. So having a mentor in different lanes of your life. So you don't just need a mentor to pump you up, because you can get all the pump up that you want, but if you don't have a plan to execute, you're still sitting there like, okay, I'm going back to work tomorrow. I was pumped up last night, but I'm going back to work tomorrow. So for me, I would highly recommend hooking up with someone who's able to help you execute a plan. One of the services that I offer is business consulting. And one of my favorite things about it is being able to take a huge idea that's in somebody's head and break it down into smaller parts that they can execute on a 30, 60, and 90-day basis. That's very important, because think about a fashion designer or a hairstylist or somebody that wants to start their own podcast. Like all of these things are creative ideas, and most people who are in that creative space don't have the ability to then transfer out of that creative space and create actionable steps that are going to propel their business. So my recommendation would be to hook up with someone that can help you plan and execute, and somebody that can kind of take that huge idea that's in your head of, I want to leave my job, I want to start my own business, and help you be able to break that down into actionable steps. Because that's what's going to help you look up 6 months from now or a year from now and be like, wow, I've done A, B, and C.
And Ms. V also said the key is planning. Start saving everything. Live like a pauper at first, because living like a queen comes with the work of being successful. And I find that most of the time the problem is people don't want to actually do the work. They want 10K months, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the research. You find people saying, oh, where did you find that from? How did you get that? Instead of taking the time to do the research themselves. So I just want to take a moment and welcome Ms. Ivy to the
ladies, or shall I say hello, fellow goddesses.
So let's get into it. Let's just go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your business. Right now, we're talking about, still working a 9 to 5 and wanting to do entrepreneurship full time. So once you do your intro, you could give us your comment on that topic.
Oh, yes. Okay. So hello, ladies. My name is Makia Ivy. I'm actually the CEO and founder of Goddess versus Vixen LLC. And what Goddess versus Vixen LLC is, I sell women's lingerie and swimwear.
Nice.
And I sell all inclusive, meaning you can be a size 0. I have something for you. I go all the way up to a 6XL.
Wow.
Yes. and that's in lingerie and swimwear. So, and I've been in business actually 2 years, so I'm still considered as a rookie business owner because I'm in my second year.
What made you decide to start your business?
I've always wanted to be a entrepreneur because I don't like for anyone to tell me what to do, you know.
Okay.
And then being a single mom, I like to be hands-on, and you can't be hands-on with raising your kids if you have a 9 to 5. Because even though people sit here and say, "Oh, you got kids," I understand, until when one of your kids gets sick unexpectedly, and you sit here and say, "Hey, look, I got to, I got to take my kid to the doctor." Then they sit here and say, "Well, do you love your job, or do like you must don't love your job?" And it's like,
yeah,
you know,
and
I
then
got to,
replace you the next day. You don't go to
yeah,
work, you get sick, they'll have somebody right in your seat. So how do
right.
you
And
feel are you still working a job, or you're just doing the
no,
lingerie?
okay,
100%?
so I'm still working a job, right? And
Okay.
I'm gonna continue to work my job until my business makes me able to where I don't have to work a job.
Okay.
So yes, I still work my 9 to 5. It's just that now my 9 to 5 is funding my business in a sense.
Okay.
So, and then on top of that, in addition to lingerie business, I also do cybersecurity insurance.
Okay.
So for e-commerce or some local businesses. So I have that as well.
Okay. So our topic actually for today is about multiple streams of income. Is it important to do that? Like, we could talk about when do you do that? So Crystal, I think we talk about so much. I'm sure we talked about this before, but you want to sell hair, you want to have a clothing boutique, you also want to do makeup,
Oh,
and
nice.
you want to sell I don't know, liquor, let's just say. You have people out here running
Right,
3, 4,
right.
5 different businesses all at the same time, and they're all making $10 a month. So, like, come on, sis. Multiple streams of income, or is it necessary? And if it's necessary, what's your suggestion about going about doing it? Should you just throw everything out there and see what sticks? What do you say?
I think that when you have
that open
multiple
to everyone?
streams of income, when you want to have multiple streams of income, that I feel that, and this is my personal feeling, they should tie into each other. So if
Yeah.
like, for example, the beauty and fashion industry is very wide, and that can include hair, nails, makeup, skincare, clothing, shoes, stockings, underwear, undergarments, whatever that have you. So it ties into there. But when you have a disconnect where I'm selling hair, but I'm also selling platters, and I got my own seasoning I'm making for my platters, and I also have I'm selling CBD gummies, and it just seems like you're just you're doing the
All
hustle
over the
aspect of it
place.
and not the entrepreneur aspect of it. And I feel that when we're starting business, Eric Worre has a great point on the employee mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset. And as we are coming up, when we're young, we are always, and let me say this very lightly, we are sometimes reared to the employee onset. Your parents tell you, go to school, get a good job. Not a lot of parents, if they aren't, we're not talking about the parents who've always been entrepreneurs, who always work for themselves. They, train their kids, raise their kids differently. But for the majority of parents who are working, who putting food on the table, and they're, raising their children, they, you got to get a job. Teenagers, get your job. You got to get your work papers, get a job. So the employee mindset is already sort of like birthed into us. And then we start growing up, and that's when the entrepreneur mindset. So you always have this struggle as far as what it means to be an entrepreneur versus an employee. I get it. I'm working my 9 to 5, which is a 9 to 3. Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 2 on Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes overnight. But I also have my own business. I know that I need these. These are my multiple streams of income for the simple fact that I have children, and I know that guaranteed check, that security check, will keep the lights on, because being an entrepreneur, until your job is actually going and running, which takes about 2, 3, depending on your business, also depending on 3, 4, or 5 years for the income to be steady, where it's able to you're able to leave your 9 to 5. And most of the ones who have the multiple streams of income, where they have 5 different things going on, I believe, are still in that employee mindset, because they need something consistent. If here is selling, I got these classes, the plans on selling, I got this the CBDs that's going to sell, I got this that's going to sell, I got this going to sell. Just sticking with the one, because let's be honest, sticking with one thing is very scary,
right?
Especially when sales are low, especially when the engagement is low, that's when you need you need $200 a day.
Oh, I think her
What
phone.
happened? She will just disconnect.
Yeah, she's coming back. Jarde, you have
It needs to connect for you.
Sure. So I definitely want to comment on that
for your customer.
Go ahead, Jarde.
Okay. So I was just saying, I definitely want to comment on that. I kind of have a little bit of a different opinion. While I do definitely agree that if you're going to do different things, that you want to make sure that your brand is cohesive. So you want to make sure that you're doing different things that align. So for example, I started tax preparation last year, but this year I'm going to add on 7 different financial services. So now my brand will include credit repair. It'll include bookkeeping. It'll include notary. It'll include business consultant. All these things are different lines and streams of income. They're absolutely different streams of income, but they're all, like you said, Crystal, they're all brand cohesive. They all make sense, right? So that's one angle of it. The reason why I kind of have a different opinion is because I think about the risk side of things. So if this year didn't show us like any other year, if you're only in one field, it's very easy for something like this, like a pandemic, like a housing crash, like a stock market crash, anything, to easily thwart everything and all the momentum that you had going. So for me, I absolutely have my hands in different things, but I don't brand them the same way. So my brand is financial services. However, I absolutely have a ton of money invested in real estate. So I do rental properties. I'll purchase a property and rent it out for a lot more than I purchased it for, right? But I don't really brand myself with that. I'll mention it like on social media, but it won't be something that people know Jarde for. Another thing that I love doing is event planning. I'm a wedding planner. That's my passion. That's what I love, which completely is the opposite of doing taxes, right? So you would think like, oh my gosh, these two kind of don't align. But at the same time, think about the events industry this year, right? So imagine if I was an event planner and I also had like a DJ business and I also had a decorating business and I had a cake business. Well, all of that would have been shut down at one time, you know? So for me, I agree that brand cohesiveness is very important. And I see people, like you said, Crystal, that's all over the place. But at the same time, I think evaluating your risk and making sure that you're spread out is even more important, if that makes sense.
Okay. So we have Ms. V said she survived COVID because of multiple streams of income. If you're strategic, it can work. She also said that multiple streams happen sometimes as growth happens for individuals. She has a nonprofit that services women, and all the businesses that she owns, they collaborate and serve women. And then someone else said it's easier when you don't have children to step out on faith, knowing that you have responsibility to think of besides yourself. So Makia, did you have a comment on this?
As far as the multiple streams of income, I agree with both women, but my opinion on it is, me personally, I say stick to one genre or one just one thing. What I mean by that is, like Miss Crystal said, like if you own a clothing business, it's easy to open up, to own a clothing business and then expand to selling shoes, then expand into selling accessories. I know people who They got a clothes, they come out with clothes, and then, oh, okay, I sell hair, which is cool. And then all of a sudden, I sell edibles too. Okay, boom. I know how to make desserts. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm a notary republic, and I'm like, like, it's okay to have a niche. Like, it's okay to have a niche. It's definitely, like it's okay to be a one-stop shop, but yeah, you walk in, it's like, oh, I'm a notary, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a that. Oh yeah, I'm also an astronaut on Saturdays and Sundays. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
you know what? I think I can see both sides of it, but I think it depends on how you do it. So I think if you build your audience first, like if you build relationships,
that too,
first, right?
And I was getting to that too.
Whatever you come out with, I feel like people would support or refer you. Like if you look at some of the people right now who are doing big things, like let's just take Super example. She built her audience, right? And then
she did.
She did that for a long time. Then she started incorporating the makeup. I'm learning how to do makeup and learn with me. And then now I have a makeup business. So everybody liked her from before. Her topics that she did, Storytime with Super, had nothing to do with makeup at all.
Nothing.
So she built the audience based off of that. And then she was selling shirts, and now she's doing, I just feel like it really depends. As long as you're not doing it, like you said, if you're not, okay, when you come to get your hair done, you can also buy the cookies that I bake.
Because that's what they do. Like, soon as you walk in,
you bring So if I'm on Facebook talking about my real estate business, you might want to go on LinkedIn and talk about something else, or you might want to focus on different things, because people will start to look at you like, maybe she don't have no money and she's just trying to do all these different things.
She's just trying to find trying to find something.
Really know what she's talking about, and now you're a business consultant. Well, I mean, hey, how are you a business consultant and you have 30 different businesses? Are they all successful? Especially when they're all doing it at the same time. Like, you see people who start in the beginning of the year, and they've shown you 5 different businesses in the beginning of their year. And people are kind of like, So if you start with building the relationship first, building your audience first, then you could just hit them and listen, I sell cars now, buy my cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sell insurance now. And I have a passion for, doing wedding planning. I think it all works that way. It works well that way if you do it that way. That's just my opinion.
And I will also say another way to build your audience too is, believe it or not, whether people comment on your social media or not, they pay attention to everything you post. So everything you post. Like, I could give an example. I remember a friend of mine sat there when the pandemic happened. It was a lot of people selling clothes, like, oh, I'm selling clothes now. I'm selling clothes now. They was using their COVID checks to, get licensed and all that stuff, which, hey, I love it. You get what I'm saying? I'm all for entrepreneurship. But a friend was like, all of a sudden, everybody's selling clothes. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. And I sit here and I was like, well, at me next time. And then the first thing he sat there and said was, you've been doing it. Even when people don't comment, they pay attention to everything you do. Everything you post, everything, like if you always posting this, or you always posting that, or if you're always doing this, that's a way of building your audience too, because people have reached out to me. I was like, I didn't even know you knew I sold it, Oh yeah, I've been seeing your posts. But you never know who's looking. When you post or when you comment, even when you're participating on other people's posts, you never know. And and people will always sit here and say, well, you sell this, you sell that, what don't you sell? And I would say something vulgar, but we on this podcast, so I ain't gonna say what I used to tell people but yes, just to tie back into what everybody said, yes, you have to build a rapport, because people have to be comfortable with buying your product. You have to sell your product. You have to, even like when it comes to I would say retail business. You know,
Mhm.
whether you're selling jewelry, clothes, hair, you have to be your own billboard until you have enough clients to where you
Mhm.
don't have to be your own billboard anymore.
Miss
You
D,
understand what I'm saying?
we have another
So,
comment. She said she has a credit business, skincare, life
Oh,
coaching, furniture restoration, and it all works. And she said she agreed
ooh,
with what you said, that people watch and your business grows. She's an author as well, and people see her brand as a leader because she consistently shows up. So I want to talk about
yep.
that a little bit. What do you guys think? We could start with Jarde and then Crystal and just go back around. What do you think about social media? Everybody is putting it all on social media. What do you think about other mediums of marketing, like a marketing mix? Like, what do you do besides social media to get your business out there? I know you mentioned that you don't talk about the wedding planning, you don't brand yourself. How do you get customers if you don't put that there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Sure. So right now with COVID, obviously social media has become the platform for marketing for so many people. While it before might have been a portion of your marketing
Right.
budget, it has for some people become the marketing budget or the marketing medium. I know for me, prior to COVID, we used to do a lot of in-person seminars where we would get to
Mm-hmm.
know like financial seminars where we would give out free financial information, whether it was credit, taxes, bookkeeping, consulting, and we would just get together once a month with different churches, different community organizations, and we would just have in-person sessions where we were just giving free information to the community, which obviously ultimately turned into clients. So that was one way that we did it. A lot of things that we were doing as well was corporate partnerships. So we
Mm-hmm.
would kind of see how did our brand align with another brand. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, taxes, right? You think of what do people do when they get their taxes done? They go buy a car, they go buy the
Mm,
new iPhone. So we would get corporate partnerships with dealerships. Hey, can we be inside of your dealership on a Saturday morning with a T-Mobile or a Sprint store? Also, we thought about who our client was. So our primary client that we were going after in our target market was small businesses and also mothers that had children. So we would have corporate partnerships with daycares and with small business platforms. So things like that was how I was trying to be creative to use other things outside of social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of wanted to circle back to what your guest said as far as being in. I love it. So she's doing furniture, she's doing credit. I love it. I think being on the other side of it, not the consumer side, helps you to appreciate it more. When
Right.
it's like she said, you show up in every area. And that
Mm-hmm.
goes right back to what you were saying, Khadijah. Once they know you and trust you, once you execute well within one part, within one industry, then they're more likely to trust you in the next industry. So
Right.
yes, I do your taxes, but if you saw me execute well to a high level of service and a high level of satisfaction for you, and you mention you're getting married, and I say, oh, by the way, I plan weddings, they wouldn't look at me sideways. They wouldn't say, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, you plan weddings too? Oh my gosh, she's doing everything. They will probably say, hey, can you plan my wedding? I
And why
saw how
didn't
you
mhm.
executed.
why didn't
So,
you tell me?
what'd you say?
I said they probably say, why didn't you tell me? I'm coming here
Why
all the
didn't
time.
you
Oh
tell me?
yeah.
Exactly. And that's I think hinders us sometimes too as entrepreneurs. When we know that our hands are in multiple different pots, we aren't
We
likely to
don't tell
market it as
nobody.
much. And they would say, well, I didn't know you did this. So it's very, very strategic and it's almost an art to branding yourself and like you said, gaining your audience and like your client, like your guest said, showing up in every single area
Hmm.
consistently, if that's the key. If you can do that doing furniture and doing credit and doing hair and you remodel kitchens, then hey, more power to you, sis. I would never say her hands are in too many pots. I would say, does she show up well every single time?
Correct.
And I also, I'm the host, so I have to play devil's advocate. So I'm gonna let Crystal go, and then I'm going to tell you what I also think about that, which is kind of on the flip side of that too. Crystal, do you have another comment on
Ooh,
that topic, on what the
for
are?
social media,
Mm-hmm.
the social media outlets, how I stay, yeah, social media, it's a lot, especially now with everyone being online. I try to, I'm really, I could say this because, it's y'all and the
Mm-hmm.
viewers. I'm a drive by. commenter. Like I'll post a question and I move. I don't
Oh
come back to
yeah.
it until I don't come back to it. It'll be a couple of days. I remembered, oh dang, I asked a question. Oh, wait a minute, I got a poll. So I have to really stay and Khadijah stays on me about, did you post, like what did you say? Somebody comments, oh they did. Oh man, I forgot. Because there's so many. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's TikTok, and I'm on all of them. And to tell you quite honestly, I use Facebook as my comedic platform. I'm not really serious on
Oh,
here. I
okay.
don't use Instagram is for my business.
Okay.
Facebook is for see murder,
Okay.
kill see, that type of thing. And because
I
that's how
get
people
it.
know me.
Okay.
They know me that I'm funny there. And with the customers that I have with my skincare business, I email them. I do email marketing. If you have not responded to my email, if I haven't seen you purchase, um, in a while, I'm texting you, I'm calling you because I captured your information. And I think in this day and age, because we have social media and everyone is bombarded. I know I am with all the ads and the posts and the algorithms that now people are more, they want to see the personal. Oh girl, you texted me. Oh my God, you got my number. Oh my God, you got my email. Well, some say, oh my God, you got my email. Some unsubscribe, and that's quite all right because I'll politely email them again. You unsubscribe? Was that an accident? Did you mean to? Okay, no problem. Take them off my list. And
Hmm.
I'm not, believe it or not, ladies, I am not a people person. I'm not the extrovert. I'm an introvert. But when I'm
Oh,
out in the public, when I'm out, I'm really strategic about the I'm strategic about the partnerships and who I talk to. If you do hair, I'm asking you about your client. Do you look at your client's face when
Mhm.
you're doing their hair?
mhm.
Because you're in their face anyway during their hair. Do you notice anything about, wrinkles, blemishes, skincare issues?
Mhm.
I have a wonderful relationship with my estheticians, the two that do my face. About my, one loves my skincare, the other one started her own skincare line, and we talk about clients and how we can collab. I have a tea lady, y'all probably know her if y'all in Philly, Khadijah. I call her Khadijah. These teas, she makes her own teas, so we collab. I have
Oh,
collaborated with her as far as teas. When we're talking about, I have an anti-aging facial skincare line, so coordinating with her about what teas we can drink to help beautify us from the inside out. I have a couple of chefs that I communicate with as far as foods that are good for the skin. So that's how I do mine. Um, Outside of social media, because when what was it, not too long ago, when Facebook went down or the internet went down and people were like, oh my God, that's where all my customers are, what do we want to do? I don't know how old you ladies are, but I'm 48. I'm used to door knocking and going out doing vending shows, doing pop-up shops to get my product out there. So doing that aspect of it, I like that sometimes. Because like I said, people are they're a little much, and I need a couple days to recover. So that is how I keep engaging outside of social media. I also tell people where I'm at. Like I'm out here, they don't know exactly where, but if I put on my if I put on my Facebook post, I'm out here. People in Philly tend to look out. Hey, are you down west? Are you up north? Like where you at? Type of thing.
Okay. So how do you market? Do you have a good marketing mix, or you Facebook, Instagram? Where are you, Miss Ivy?
I
well, me,
market.
oh,
I market. Sorry, go ahead. It's an
no, you
echo.
go ahead. Go ahead. Well,
No,
no,
I was talking
actually,
to myself.
what happened?
It's a delay and echo. I was talking to my daughter that keeps
Uh,
doing stuff back here.
okay. No, actually, I do my marketing mainly on Facebook and Instagram. Truth be told, now I do pop-ups, and I also, considering that I sell lingerie, I do a lot of bridal showers. Believe it or not, a lot of bridal showers, a lot of bachelorette parties too.
Mm-hmm.
Because due to the COVID, there's been a lot of adult sleepovers. So I provide, pajamas and onesies like that as well. But majority of my marketing actually comes from word of mouth. I network a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
like
awesome.
I'm in a lot of Facebook groups too, so I do throw it in there like ever so often, like, hey, look, I sell lingerie. And then people like, oh, okay, and then, they'll sit here, they'll either go to the website or they'll go to my page or they'll look at my stories or they'll even inbox me and say, okay, I like this. Do you have this in this? And things of that nature. So I'm a super extroverted person. So it's not hard for me to just go out there and market and network. If we're holding a conversation, I'm gonna throw in there, I sell lingerie.
Yeah, you gotta
I
tell
don't care.
everybody what you're doing. You gotta let them know. First thing I wanted to say was email marketing. That's awesome because we don't own Facebook and we don't own that platform. So at any moment, if they decide to say, hey, I'm shutting down Facebook, you will lose all of your contacts and your customers. I also think that being a comedian on Facebook is awesome, Crystal, because people get to know your personality, and that's how you build relationships with people. People love you. I mean, I know I do. Like I met you on social media, and you're like a whole bestie now. So, I think that's awesome. And what I wanted to say was about having the different lanes of businesses. It can work because we see it work all the time. But I just feel like, and this is part of what we try to do with our group is, we don't need, it's fine if you do, but we don't necessarily need 5 people that do taxes, 5 people that do insurance, 5 people that do lingerie. Why can't we work together and collaborate together to create something, to create these huge corporations and businesses like other people do? So I feel like that's what I'm trying to get across in the group. That's what I'm trying to do in Besties, to just have that feeling of group work, group economics, so that we can all grow together. So if you have a tax business and she does insurance, why can't maybe you guys, share offices? So instead of you paying for your office here and she's paying for her office there, you're going to find your customer, she's going to find her customers. You can work
and then y'all also can refer y'all customers to each other.
They can go from desk to desk. They can come in, they could do this, they could do that. I just feel like I don't want to say people are selfish, but people always have their hand out. We see from the group, and I'm just being real, when you say post your business, everybody puts up a link. So you saw that post. So I know that you see the post, but when someone is asking to collab or someone is asking to do some type of group work to help someone else, a lot of, it's not the same amount of people that show up. And it's disheartening because I feel like that's the way to go. Right now, to join the VIP membership is $1. It's 1,000 plus people in the group. If everybody pays $1 a month, we could put money into everyone's business to help everyone grow. People don't want to do it. And it's sad because people are paying $150 to have, one group coaching. You have one group coaching, you get an ebook, and your business still has not grown. You're getting all these freebies, you're paying all this money, you're taking all these classes, but yet your business has not seen an increase. So I'm putting it out there again. I'm going to keep putting it out there until I find my tribe. Join Besties. Pay the $1 because it's going to go up, but it's a benefit to everyone. Besties is a nonprofit. We're not trying to get rich. We're trying to build up our community. We want you to make money so you can put it back into your community. Don't go buy a Gucci belt. Go spend some money with another entrepreneur. And I just feel like that's the flip side to having your hand in multiple things when you could just grab somebody, you know what I'm saying? Just grab somebody and say, hey, I do lingerie, you do makeup, let's do a shoot together. You know what I mean? Like, it was always down to collab. You know what I mean? She has skincare. It could be like, what are those things called? The boudoir shots or whatever. We can work
yes. And I was thinking about doing that too. I was thinking about doing that as a business as well. I was trying to find a makeup artist to collab with to do start a boudoir studio where I could provide the lingerie and then that person can be a makeup artist. I can't find no one to collaborate to save my life. That is
A makeup
crazy.
artist?
I think when you talk about collaboration, I think for and these are just my thoughts and what I've been thinking. If you listen to Power 99, people feel people feel that they can service everyone. And I find
Yeah.
that very interesting because, and when I say, and then for some people it is true because their audience is really small. Their mom, their dad, their cousin, Philly, and maybe the 100 people that they know in Philly. So they feel like they can service everyone. That's why they don't want to collaborate or they don't want to connect with someone else because these are my 100 people. You're not going to get my 100 people. Not
Because that's
understanding that
exactly how they look at it.
there are 8 million people in Philadelphia, period, alone. So I'm just saying, like, that's what I feel like when you say collaborate, that one, people don't know how, and they're just thinking of their people. They're not thinking of everyone else. They're not thinking that, hey, you sell lingerie and Jarde, she does um wedding planning on the side. Your wedding night, you're gonna need something he wants to rip off. Hello, somebody, talk to me.
Huh. Hmm.
We know
Okay.
Jarde does taxes. We know it. We know because I
We
ain't
know
one of
people
them.
gonna want to get these new charges, so they're gonna
When
need
these
We
tax
get
that
yeah,
maximum
married for
taxes.
free, we get married.
when the tax return hit, I'm really free with my monies. So I'm just saying, I just what I feel that people don't think larger than them. They don't think of the whole world out there and that they cannot
Hmm.
service if where Jarde, where are you located at? Are you in Philly?
I'm in Philly.
Okay, if every Philadelphia resident, we ain't talking Jenkintown, we ain't talking, we're talking Philadelphia County. If every Philadelphia resident contacted you for taxes, could you handle that?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I wouldn't even, but I actually agree wholeheartedly with you, Crystal. Like a lot of people, they think that there's not enough room for us all to eat. When there's absolutely enough room for us all to eat, I always think about the bread aisle. I'm
Right.
sure you guys know that analogy that you go to the bread aisle, there's 50 different types of bread, but you'll also walk there on a Sunday afternoon and it's completely cleared out, right? There's enough for all of us
Yeah.
to eat. But I can speak directly from experience about the collabing thing. So this year, when I was mentioning how we're adding those different financial services, each of those are actually a collab. So I found a credit specialist. I found someone that specializes in insurance, and each one of them will be running their own businesses, and they'll be connecting with my business. So now all of those will be under the same umbrella. But from the experience and the entrepreneur side of it, for me, it was a trust issue, right? Because I'm now trusting that you're going to offer that same level of service that I know I'm going to offer to my client, right? So for me, if I hadn't personally experienced your service as an insurance agent, as a credit specialist, I'm like, well, I don't know how comfortable I feel about passing my client along to you. So that's where I struggle, and that's where I had to get over that hump of just being able to trust the person or the sister or the brother next to me to handle my client the same way I would, if not better. So I'm actually embarking on that this year, a collab. Be my first time. I actually gained a partner too. So I went from being a one-member sole proprietor to this year I'm officially a two-member LLC, which for me, I never thought I would do, but I had to get out of my way to collab with another sister that equally brought to the table just what I brought is not better, right? So I agree with you 100%, Khadijah. I think it's different reasons for why we don't collab. Mine was a trust issue, not it wasn't enough customers.
But that's a valid reason. That's a valid reason. We saw, and we're going to wrap up soon, but we saw in the beginning, because COVID kind of turned Besties into a Facebook group, which wasn't its intention. And we saw that we tried to highlight businesses, and some businesses, their level of excellence wasn't necessarily what ours is. So we stopped that, you know what I mean? So we just have to find a way to qualify people, and if they're not at our level, we need to help to get them there.
Them to the level, right?
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, my whole goal is for everybody to win. Like I want us all to become millionaires. Like it's a passion, it's a real goal. It's not like the fake motivational people that you see, because we see them a lot. I don't need $2,000 to help you make money. I just want us all to win. So again, join Besties. We do have another comment. Before we do that, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that you guys' information is scrolling across the bottom. For the people that can't see us, you guys want to tell them how they can find you, what services that you offer, and then we'll answer the last comment, and then we'll just wrap up. Jarde, how can they find you? Tell them your website and what services you offer.
Sure. So my IG handle, which is where I'm always at, is at InTheMomentTaxServices. So InTheMomentTaxServices. That's my IG handle. Feel free to just search my name, Jarde Allen, Jarde. And you'll see my page as well. I also have a website where you can go ahead and book a free consultation, InTheMoment101.com. And the primary service that I offer is financial literacy and financial cohesiveness for you. So tax preparation, credit repair, bookkeeping, business consultant, you name it. That's primarily what I do, and that's primarily what I'm passionate about.
Awesome. Okay. Next, Goddess Vixen. How can they find you? With I know you do lingerie, but just again, for the people that aren't watching this on Spotify and Apple Music, just shout it out.
Okay. Yes. Okay. You can find me at Goddess versus Vixen LLC. That's on Facebook, and on Instagram at Goddess versus Vixen LLC. My website is goddessversusvixen.net. And like I stated, I carry sizes extra small to a 6XL. They can also look me up on Facebook, Makia Ivy, Makia. I also take orders like that too, but I prefer through Facebook, my Facebook page, Goddess versus Vixen, or G versus V LLC at Facebook. All right.
And Crystal, we don't shout you out enough. Let's go. Go Beautiful with 2Ls.com. What you have to offer the people?
Where can they find me? What'd you say? It's an echo.
I said, where can they find you, and what do you have for the people?
You can find me on Instagram, Go Beautiful with 2L Skincare. That's one word, Go Beautiful Skincare on Instagram. I offer anti-aging skincare products. They are vegan. Yes, ladies, they are vegan. Plant-based moisturizer. CC serum, which is made with orange stem cells. Yes, our fruit has stem cells. Night cream. I have a coffee scrub, a wonderful turmeric scrub, and I'm working on a sugar lavender honey scrub as we speak.
Okay.
You can email me at Go Beautiful. You can email me with at Go Beautiful with 2Ls at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. My personal Facebook is my name, Crystal Irvin. I will be performing at Uncle Skittles every night at 1 a.m. if you want to join. And my business page is Go Beautiful Skincare on Facebook.
Annoying. Did you say Uncle
Did you
Skittles?
say you're gonna? Did you say you're gonna perform? Okay. What are you performing? You sing? You do poetry? What you do?
These are just jokes.
Oh, okay, girl. Tell me, because I was gonna share it on my page. If I don't do nothing else, I share stuff on my page.
But
I'm like,
notice I said 1 a.m. So you know what type of jokes these are going to be.
All right, so Miss V, I have her information on the screen too, just because she's been so she's been communicating, she's been commenting. So I've been posting all of her links.
Yes.
This is the author, the furniture restoration company. She has all these businesses. So hopefully she's in the group. If not, we can make sure you get with me, Miss V, so you can get in the group. And then her last question was, do you find it difficult to gain customers in your community? She said her direct community is not her customer. So who wants to take that? One person take that, and then we'll wrap.
I'll take that. I would say this. It is kind of hard to get people in your community to support you. Now, I will say this. Being in business has taught me that my customers are not those who that's in my direct community, meaning they're not my relatives. They're not the people I went to high school with. They're not, they're not the person I call bestie. They're the people that I've met on Facebook. They're the people that I've never seen before in life. So don't get discouraged when you don't think that you have the support of those that are in your immediate community. Because, I mean, you're not going to get rich off of the people in your community, because there's a billion other people out there that will buy your product.
Right.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining. This was a wonderful conversation. If you want to contact any of the ladies again, their information has been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can find us on Facebook, Business Building Besties, I believe is what it's called. But you can find us through DBA Besties in Business, or you can go to our website, bestiesbusiness.org. If you join besties.com for the $1, we will get you into our free group and into our private group. I'll make sure all of the ladies' information is in the group. So if you want to collab, if you want to use their services, if you have anybody that you can refer, make sure you do that. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully you guys will join us again next week. Make sure you tell everybody about the show. We're going to create some millionaires. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming out, and have a good evening.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Ladies, have a good night.
Thank you for joining, ladies.